My name is Lynn Jeffrey, and I am the director of the Foresight Essentials Learning Portfolio at the Institute for the Future. Um, you are here because you want to build your individual foresight skills, or perhaps your team or your organization, to help sort of get more comfortable with the rapid pace of change. And with the combination of the global pandemic, all of the more frequent incidents of climate change that we're starting to feel in our daily lives, rise of generative AI, multiple wars kind of destabilizing us geopolitically, we're seeing this growing demand for different ways to build an understanding of what's changing, to build a sense of hope, a sense of agency about uncertainty. And we are here to help with all of our trainings and teaching in foresight. And for the past 57 years, Institute for the Future has been, I think we're the longest running independent futures group in the world at this point. We work with businesses, we work with all kinds of social impact organizations, government agencies, helping people understand how the future might be different and how you can build the future that you want. This is our 10th year doing foresight trainings. We started with one course, which Sarah designed 10 years ago. My colleague Sarah Skversky is here with me, and you'll hear from her in a moment. We now have multiple different learning options. Some are for individuals, some are customized for organizations. We have a really amazing global community of foresight practitioners, all kinds of events to support them. And I want to start sharing my slides now. And before we get into the details, some of the nitty-gritty of what we actually do in the different classes, I want to just give you a sense of what it's like to take a class with us at the Institute. First of all, I think one thing that really distinguishes all of the classes and trainings that we do is that they are taught by seasoned, experienced IFTF faculty, trusted members of our global foresight network. And all of us have practical experience working with a really wide range of stakeholders. Right now, I think, for example, Sarah is working with a major US university and also in conversation with a biotech startup. So that's the kind of work that we do at the Institute. And I think it really helps ground our classes in how do you do futures work in a professional context. We are all researchers as well as teachers. And if you take one of our courses for individuals, and as you'll see in a moment, we have courses for individuals and courses for organizations and teams, you're going to have colleagues from really diverse backgrounds, as diverse as the ones on this call from all over the world. And all of the people in the classes are developing real-world foresight projects. At one class I taught recently, we had people from 6 or 7 different countries. They were ranging from a director of innovation for a US nonprofit who was working on the future of learning. We had a designer for a large internet company, global company, thinking about the future of news. We had someone from a women's leadership organization in Malawi working on women in sustainability and leadership training. So we just have a really diverse mix of private sector, public sector, education, civic sector, independence, a lot of people running their own agencies and innovation, design, leadership, and philanthropy. So that's, I think, one of the most amazing thing about the classes is the other people you're going to meet. And then secondly, if you're taking our remote courses, our online courses, you can also look forward to very collaborative, kind of cutting edge learning environments. So we are really using collaborative workspaces like Miro. I'm sure many of you are using that as well. We also love testing out new tools and platforms. And so that's going to be part of the experience. And then we also have a focus on making the foresight actionable. We have lots of very practical tools, frameworks, As I said, you'll be oftentimes designing your own project to do after the class is over. We also use tools like the one that you see here called Design Your Practice that helps you assess all the aspects of your own professional foresight practice. Are you doing foresight for an internal audience or an external audience? What's the right time frame? So a lot of these very practical kinds of tools. All of our classes do end with a certificate of completion. And we just have so many free foresight learning resources if you're not able to join us for a class that we'll be sharing toward the end of this. So I want to give you an overview of our portfolio. Wide variety of price points. We have our courses for individuals, which range from 90-minute classes online for $99 US, or we have much more comprehensive classes like our Foresight Essentials class. And then we also have our custom trainings and leadership accelerators, which are specifically designed for organizations and teams. So with that, I would love to invite Sarah Skaversky, our head teacher, brilliant designer and teacher. Sarah, tell us about the classes.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Lynn, and welcome everyone. Really excited to see folks really from around the world join us here today. And I want to start by explaining Foresight Essentials, which is our flagship course. Now, this course equips people with foundational knowledge that every foresight professional needs. And it really provides you with a process for successfully completing foresight projects in or for organizations. And what the heck am I showing you on the screen right now? I'm showing you the foresight cycle. It's what this course is really organized around. It's about how do you create impact with foresight. We take you through all 4 steps of this incredible cycle of preparing your mind, thinking about what are the questions I should be asking, coming up with multiple plausible, provocative visions of multiple futures, right? There's no one given future out there. Nobody can predict the future, but you can be really smart about navigating it. You can take it down and understand, how do we make insight? What does this mean for me? These big outside visions of what could happen. And we really work with you to bring it through towards action. There's no point in thinking about the future unless we plan on doing something about it today, right? So that's really the course organization. Is the organization also for the toolkit that we have, which has 24 different tools in it. And throughout the class, we're really going to cover the building blocks of strategic foresight, such as how to find and interpret signals and drivers of change, how to create these alternative future forecasts and stories in lots of different formats. How do we use the forecast to provoke insight, right? And take those actions today. And as we go through, as Lynn mentioned, we're going to help you develop really a detailed project plan for applying the tools and methods that you've learned back in your real life. So you're going to be ready to hit the ground running when the course is over. So projects that people design during the course could be creating a forecast for their community or organization. It could be designing a new workshop process. It could be building a signals gathering community. And throughout the course, you're going to have the chance to interact with your really experienced IFTF faculty, tap into that deep expertise. When it is online, the class is taught in 6 sessions for around 66 hours. Whew, no, 22 hours of instruction. An additional time to practice tools and interact with your fellow participants. In person, it is a 3-day in-person class, and really that interaction with participants, be it online or in person, is one of my favorite parts of class. You really get to engage with such a wonderfully diverse set of participants from different types of industries and backgrounds. So as we go through, also, you're going to hear lectures on the foresight mindset, different aspects of being a foresight practitioner, and you're going to have one-on-one time with faculty. So this class is for you if you're serious about futures thinking, foresight, adding that to your professional practice, or if you already have a foresight role within your organization and you want a more systematic framework or tools, or grow your toolkit, right? And you want to build out that network of foresight professionals from really around the world. And a really exciting development of recent is that we now have a class on a few offerings, actually, for people that are specifically in the philanthropic sector. So if you know people in that sector, if that's you, we have a 3-day version of our IFTF in-person Foresight Essentials class for philanthropy. You'll hear from people already applying foresight within their philanthropies and connect with other like-minded colleagues. And you can see on this slide some of the many organizations who have participated so far. So yeah, that is our Foresight Essentials flagship class. Now let's talk about design features. We all know about the power of design, how it can unlock emotional connection. And this course is going to help you take your audience on a trip through time. You're really helping them feel those futures that you're envisioning. When you go through design futures, you're really turning what can be sometimes abstract futures research into full mind, full bodied experiences. Throughout the course, you're going to get a chance to learn and practice with hands-on methods and tools that bridge design thinking and futures thinking. And you're going to develop and explore how do we create experiences and how to apply these learnings and these insights to design new offerings, new business models. The course takes place over a 3-week period online, 17 hours of live instruction, and participants will be expected to spend some time also doing project practice and homework. The Design Futures Toolkit has 8 tools covering things like creating future worlds, scenes, experiences, and artifacts. So I want to pause quickly and talk a bit more about artifacts from the future. Simplifying here, but basically they're creative examples of objects or experiences that might exist in the future. And you might notice, what is that bright green thing on the side of this screen? What you're seeing here is an artifact from the future based on foresight from today of a future professional sports uniform that actively absorbs CO2 and also transmits statistics about the player to watching fans. I love artifacts because they can really help people immerse themselves, right, in the stories that you're creating and place themselves directly in the future. This course is for you if you are a foresight professional, a designer, an innovation strategist with some futures knowledge who really wants to deepen your ability to communicate foresight through immersive, emotional, and often physical experiences. Now, scenario building. Most foresight professionals will work with scenarios at some point in their careers because scenarios help us imagine not just a single future world, but multiple possible future worlds. We can compare and contrast them. We can develop strategies for dealing with these multiple paths. Since we can't know for sure which future will unfold, we become more resilient when we're prepared for more than one possibility. And that's really what a scenario building class is designed to help you achieve in your work. The course is a systematic deep dive that teaches you how to develop complex scenarios using the alternative future scenario framework, which was originally developed by Professor Jim Dator at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. So our toolkit will walk you through a really detailed and really fun process that's part analysis and it's part art as well. It's over 16 hours spread across 3 weeks, and you're going to work in teams to complete a scenario board, learn what questions to ask, and how to apply data to scenarios, when to make that creative leap, and how to develop 4 very distinct scenarios. The course is for people who want to develop their own scenarios, lead scenario processes, and help stakeholders generate insights and strategy with scenarios. So like all of our open enrollment courses, scenario building class is also designed to be highly interactive, really a lot of fun. It's a big joy to be engaging with people around the world. But Lynn, do you want to tell us about 3 Horizons of AI?
Yes, this is a class that we developed last year as we were getting so into researching this emerging space ourselves and using the tools for forecasting and also trying to make sense, continuing to try to make sense of what this technology, first of all, what it is, and then what it means and what it could mean in the 3 to 5 year time frame, and then the 7 to 10 year time frame. So those are the three horizons that we're exploring. And it has been a wonderful, it's just a great class. Again, you have an extremely diverse set of fellow learners from all over the world, and from engineers to college administrators to designers to activists, philanthropists. And the class is really about it's short. It's just 2 hours. It's 3 sessions over 3 weeks, and each one is 2 hours. And each one covers one of the horizons and teaches some of our really kind of core foresight techniques to try to make sense of what's happening. And there are lectures and suggested readings. And really the purpose is to help you get a better sense of what this technology is, what it isn't, what the risks are, and also what some of the opportunities and potential transformations are happening in this space. So it's been a really fun class, and welcome you to join if you're interested in getting a futures lens on generative AI.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lynn. And let's talk about our futures thinking specialization on Coursera. We have really this incredible and world-renowned general interest online course. It's self-paced, self-guided, and it's been taken by over 100,000 people around the world. This is what we call a specialization on Coursera. It's a class that's ideal for people with a curiosity about what futures thinking is, and you really want to jumpstart your understanding of it. So 5 different futures thinking courses found online on Coursera. You can work at your own pace, engage with videos, readings, and practice work. The person that you see here is the guide to your learning experience, the designer behind it, Jane McGonigal. She's phenomenal. It's a lot of fun. You can, also have the option to practice and participate in peer assessments if you'd like. And really, the first course, if you want to just dip your toe in, is intended to introduce people to some of those principles and concepts and underpinning futures thinking. So highly recommend jumping in, engaging, getting exposed to this content, and really start jumping in and starting that futures journey. Finally, another quick dip into the future. Not that the last one is, that's 5 courses. It's actually a huge amount of content, a real treasure trove of information. But if you're like, you know what, I want to do something live online, I really want to just get my head around Futures 101, we have IFTF Fast Futures, which is a 90-minute session for $99. Fast, fun experience designed by Janet McGonigal, meant to provide a taste of futures thinking and help learners really develop creative foresight. You're going to learn about signals and drivers. You're going to practice imagining how the world will be different 10 years from now. We also have a similar offering called Foresight Awareness for Philanthropy, specifically designed to help those in the philanthropy sector get their sort of toes wet in how we think about that. So that's it for me. I'm going to hand it back over to Lynn, because Lynn is going to talk about some of our custom offerings that we have.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. So perhaps some of you are here because not for yourself as an individual so much, but because you want to develop a capacity at your organization or for your team, perhaps for your community. And so we do design custom trainings using all of the tool sets that you just saw, whether it's scenario building or just a comprehensive overview of the tools, or really diving into design or generative AI. These are built to help you meet whatever needs you have, whatever kinds of people that you're trying to build foresight capacity for, to build a common vocabulary, to have a shared understanding and sort of some shared goals around this work. Of course, we also design any custom training to really focus on your specific context, your specific challenges and opportunities, and help you kind of come up with new potential actions. And we find that, as with many of our classes, I think especially, I've been doing this for 23 years now, I guess, yeah. And you know, it just, the practice just seems to be getting more and more relevant, more and more needed. I know many people are feeling there's just a lot going on in organizations and at work. And these kinds of experiences give teams a chance to pause, take a breath, reflect on where they've been and where they want to go. So some of the examples, just we do a very, very wide variety of these, from like a 90-minute kind of Foresight 101, just getting a taste, like Sarah just explained. We did one for the UN Office of the Secretary General, to you know, working with a cohort of grantees from a foundation, teaching them some of the tools and methods for their own running their own nonprofits. We often do kind of micro credentials inside someone's learning and development organization, like the ones that we do, which are just two-hour classes, and people get a just kind of practice and get a dip into practicing. We also have much more elaborate, what we call Foresight Leadership Accelerators, where we will take strategic initiatives the organization is already working on and organize teams that develop their own forecasts around those topics. And so leaders go through the whole process of designing their own forecast and coming up with insights and actions from that. And then we regularly do things where someone will have an innovation program for kind of an innovation boot camp or something like that, and we regularly plug in with a half day or a day of Foresight training, and those are also really fun. So just to kind of get our sense of what we're talking in terms of price, as I said, we have a really wide range of prices. Our flagship class is our most expensive for individuals. It's $4,000 for nonprofit, $6,000 for for-profit. And then we're quite flexible. We offer discounts, we have scholarships, but that is a class with, you know, 3 to 4 of our most experienced practitioners teaching the class. Very, very deep dive. We have the shorter courses. We have Futures Thinking on Coursera, which of course you could audit for free. And then we have these kind of fast futures for $99 if you just want to test it out and see if it's for you. The custom trainings are really depends on what you're looking for in terms of how much those costs, how many people you want to teach, where you are, what you want to do, all those kinds of things. So I don't want to leave us without talking about all the other things that we have, the learning experiences that surround our classes. Our Foresight Talks webinars, which are interviews with leading edge practitioners from all over the world, doing futures in every different way that you can imagine, from art to community-based foresight to innovation-based foresight within a company, all kinds of things. We have our Urgent Optimists community, online community, which is, I think, $99 a year. I think it's over 1,000 people talking every day, going through scenarios together, learning about foresight together, creating 10-year forecasts together. Really vibrant community. We have an amazing newsletter, and then we have meetups for our alumni who've attended our classes. If you're interested, these are our upcoming classes. As you can see, we have a lot of different options for our flagship kind of comprehensive professional training of Foresight Essentials. We have a scenario building and a design futures, and then we have some upcoming 3 horizons of AI classes. And then if you are here from philanthropy, we got you as well. We've got these dates coming up. And then if you just want to get that taste, you know, you're still interested, but you don't know if you really want to do it, join our Fast Futures, which is 90 minutes online. And that's coming up as well, although the March 5th one has already passed. So that is it. I want to, you can contact us. You can go to our website. And Joanne, let me see if there's questions. If there aren't any questions, we would love to run a quick poll just to get a sense of who's here and the kinds of experience that you're coming to us with when it comes to futures. We have a lot of people, if you could launch that poll, please, Joanne. We have a lot of people who come to us who are leading foresight inside large agencies, for example. And we often work with those folks as well to help refine their experiences. So we're learning about previous experience of people here. Let's get a sense. We've got a couple more people. There we go. I'm going to do 5. We'll close it in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm going to end the poll and share the results. So we have no one here who uses Foresight extensively in their current role, but we do have a couple people who use it regularly, occasionally, and then most of the folks here don't have experience with strategic foresight so far. So we've got a couple minutes left. If you have any questions, we would love to hear them. Feel free to get in touch with us. Let's put I'm gonna put my email in the chat. Any questions?
And just to say, thank you so much, Lynn. I think sometimes people are saying, well, we have people with totally different backgrounds here. Some people, if I just am starting out, what should I be thinking about? What should I be doing? And we have some classes that are for people who are already a little bit experienced with some foresight, which would be more design features and scenario building. Foresight Essentials flagship, that 3-day in person or over the course of 6 sessions, is really good for people in both sides of that spectrum. We have people who have been doing it for decades that attend and are having an amazing time, and people who are just getting exposed to foresight for the first time. As we mentioned, if you just want to dip your toe in, find a little bit more out about what is foresight, do you think that this makes sense? Try just jumping into either our IFTF Fast Futures or our Coursera class and just dipping your toe in. You can take the full online Coursera specialization and our IFTF Foresight Essentials flagship class, and a lot of people do that and find they complement each other really well. So lots of possibilities and opportunities to engage, and we'd love to be in conversation with you. I see that we have a question that came up here. Ooh, foundational foresight books. So Eden, one of my favorite books right now is by our wonderful colleague, Jane McGonigal. It's called Imaginable. It's her latest book. She's written several books, and Imaginable is a wonderful way to jumpstart and think about how do we push ourselves to really immerse ourselves in the future, to imagine how we might act in the future, and to, in that way, be better prepared for a whole variety of things that's happening. You can read that on your own, which I did, which is really fun, but I also know a lot of teams that have done it together and gone through this process. It has a process that has a bunch of different future scenarios and asks you to react to them. So it's a really, really fun thing. And it's also the basis for Urgent Optimists, which is that online community, was really built off of those principles, which is not just yearly. You can also join Urgent Optimists on a monthly basis. So that's another thing to be thinking about. Great question.
Great. Thank you again for joining us. Please keep in touch, and we hope to see you online, maybe in person. And thanks once again. It's really, really wonderful to see the interest, and we would love to work together. Thank you, Sarah. Thanks, Joanne and Julie, and
Thanks,
have a
everyone.
wonderful day.